Welcome to In Full Bloom. My name is Bijul, and this podcast is a place for women where each conversation is designed to encourage you to create and lead a very beautiful life. We're going to dive deep and break through everything holding you back from being the best version of yourself. At the end of it all, it is my hope that every single parcel of your being will be in full bloom. Let's get started.
Well, I am Portia Abraham. I'm a native Houstonian. I'm a former educator, and now I'm figuring out life.
Okay.
Technically, I'm a social entrepreneur, so ideally, I make a living by solving problems that need to be fixed within society. But I'm realizing that it makes more sense for me to really figure out what I truly love and just be guided by just following the bliss.
Very good. So today we're going to talk about awakening and waking up and some rebirths. So a few months ago, I was scrolling through Instagram and I saw that you had shaved your head. Now, to put this in context, Portia has always looked like the stereotypical girly girl. Super long hair, makeup, heels, pretty all the time. Not that you're not pretty now, but just whatever you think of a girly girl to be, that's who she's been. So imagine my surprise when I open Instagram one day and see that you're bald-headed.
Yeah.
And I remember I immediately text you just telling you how proud I was of you, because although then I didn't know the background, to shave off all your hair is a very courageous thing to do. So what happened? What was going on?
Girl, life.
Okay.
Life is what happened. It was actually a series of events that just called my attention. It started out, I guess you could say, in 2017. I was flooded with Hurricane Harvey. I lost belongings, mostly material, bags and shoes, ironically. And shortly after that, one of my really good friends passed away, and it just really made me re-examine life and our purpose here. Going to her funeral service was she made such an impact, and knowing her personally and knowing that all she wanted was to be a wife and a mom, and God didn't give it to her, I just felt disappointed. And I just really wanted to understand God better and understand, where she is, what happens when you die. And that just sent me on a spiral of soul searching. And it led me to shaving my head. I mean, I know that's a huge, jump from, okay, your friend died and then you shaved your head.
But did you think that your hair was symbolic of why your hair?
I think the hair, because it's something that I can control, and shaving my hair was this act of rebellion, but a gentle act of rebellion, because I wasn't hurting anyone, but also to say that I don't have to subscribe to the beauty standards that the rest of the world thinks is to be desired. And I just felt like a lot of the things that I had been doing to manipulate my hair to look a certain way, European beauty standards, of course. I don't know. I didn't want to subscribe to that anymore. I wanted to be beautiful in my raw and authentic state. Whoever my husband gonna be, he have to roll over to whatever is under, those wigs or the weaves and all of that. So it was how can I love this girl? How can I love her unconditionally? And it was one of the best decisions that I've ever made.
So how'd you feel afterwards?
Immediately afterwards, honestly, my heart dropped, and I was like, oh my God, but you just shaved your head off. You shaved all your hair off.
Right.
I just kind of sat there uh-oh.
Did anyone know you were going to do it?
No.
So,
and it happened, I thought about it, and I was just I might. But then it just I dismissed the thought. But then it came back up again, and I was like, well, why are you afraid? Why won't you?
Right.
And I really, at that point, I did it because it's something I was afraid of doing. And so I just went for it, just conquering that fear.
So what were the reactions when people saw you?
I got a lot of mixed, like, and I still get a lot of mixed, responses, even now with me growing my hair back.
Okay, so today it's a little longer. It's still short. It's shaved on the sides.
Mm-hmm.
The top is like an inch high, so it's not completely bald. Mm-hmm. But so, what did people say when they first saw you?
Shock. Like, I FaceTime my mom, and I could, you could see when somebody screenshot. Yeah. I was like, oh, is that what we're doing? Who are you gonna send that to?
Was she panicked?
She was just shocked, but she was like, you did it. Like, okay. You, like, really, like, wow. For some people, I think that they were nervous for me because, shaving your head or cutting your hair is one of these signs that we look for when we talk about mental health. When people say, oh, like, you give away your personal belongings, and when you shave, like, I gave away a lot of stuff because I had been accumulating and buying and getting and still wasn't happy, and I still wasn't fulfilled. And,
well, sometimes we, as people, this is for women, we collect a lot of things, and I feel like sometimes we place our value in those things. So yeah, I get it. Giving all those things away, those things that you had hoarded and built up, I can imagine it must have felt like a release.
It was extremely liberating and like therapeutic.
Did you used to place value in things?
I didn't think I did. Okay. That's the crazy part. It wasn't until, again, I just started arming myself with knowledge. And the more knowledge I came across, the more I felt reassured in my decision for so many reasons,
Good. So, how have you changed personally since shaving your head? How have you grown? Have you changed? What else has changed? Because you let go of the hair, you let go of the material things. What else has changed? Tell us about your awakening.
So let's back up into like my friend passing away and me just like, I don't know, just like seeking truth and like wanting to know like more about life and our existence and why are we here and what's my purpose. It has to be more to life than going to work and just dying, mm-hmm. And so I started exploring that, and what I realized is that one of my biggest fears was death. Mm-hmm. And I was faced like head on with my biggest fear, and it was, in a form of my friend leaving this earth, and it made me re-examine like my belief system and the ideology that I had adopted and I had been holding as truth. And I just started questioning everything and everybody, and I even put God on trial.
You put God on trial?
I did. And it's, when I tell people that, I feel like they kind of cringe, like, oh, that's blasphemy. But the God that I knew was a God that other people had experienced. It was the God, that the characters in the Bible had experienced, or my family members had experienced. I pretty much lived like a pretty good life. Mm-hmm. Like, I hadn't had any extreme times of like turmoil or anything like that. So having my friend like die and like having to face that head on made me just kind of dive into that fear. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, I think I've grown tremendously, not just because I've cut my hair, but because I know that this is an evolution of me.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad you said that, because I'm confident that a lot of Christians go through periods where they're angry with God, they're confused, they don't understand, but they won't admit it because you're not supposed to say it.
Yep.
But this show is about diving deep and being very honest about how you feel. You put God on. Who won the trial?
Hands down, God won.
Okay.
Right? Like, immediately. It was like one thing after the next, and I realized that life is this adventure, and so many of us are following this path that someone else created because they were successful or because they were happy, mm-hmm. and by choosing that route. Mm-hmm. But we're all unique individuals, and we all have our path. We're created, and I believe that we are created to fulfill a mission. We're here on this earth for something very specific, and if we're following someone else's path, then it makes it very difficult to follow our own dreams and to walk in our own truth. And cutting my hair allowed me to cut, like cutting my hair allowed me to walk in my truth, and me walking in my truth allows the people around me to walk in their truth, and that feels good because I make better connections with other people.
So what path were you on before this realization?
Honestly, I was just living, and I didn't have any like true like definite goals. I just wanted to be successful and married with kids, I guess.
Were you... So you guys might not know, but Portia used to be on a reality TV show a very long time ago, before you and I became friends. Mm-hmm. So do you think that you were presenting a life that you felt you had to keep up with a certain appearance?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And I consider myself a very strong-willed person,
mm-hmm.
and this process happened over a period of time. It didn't happen overnight, like, mm-hmm. I was on VH1 and mm-hmm. then all of a sudden I became like some superficial person. Mm-hmm. But it was like I gained a lot of followers because of that show mm-hmm. and because of that exposure. And mm-hmm. so they were looking for high maintenance Portia, mm-hmm. but high maintenance Portia was a character. Mm-hmm. That was a personality mm-hmm. and not authentic representation of
Did you
me.
know that at the time though? Did you know that person that you were, like, were you aware that you were a character? Or did you really believe that that's who you were and that is who you were supposed to be?
That's a really good question.
Because it was working for you at the time.
I went on that show at a time where I had everything together according to society standards. Like I was pretty, I had my stuff together, I had a job, I had a career, nice friends, all of these things. But I was technically broken because I didn't have a man. And that show was to teach you how to get a man. Like it was a boot camp. Yeah. And
which is so silly, by the way. So silly. Like, so silly. But
obviously.
That's neither here nor there.
It was like a once, like, in a lifetime opportunity, and I just went for it. And I just assumed that people would know that. And I hear people all the time say, reality TV ain't real. Mm-hmm. And so I just assumed that they would know that, you know, it's a little bit of me, but I'm adding in an extra little oomph for the audience. Yeah. I'm making a memorable character. Like, maybe get a spinoff. Who knows?
Sure.
But I didn't think about it at the time that I'm playing a role and that I'm a character. It wasn't until like self-evaluation and a lot of journaling that I was able to get to the bottom of, you know, that's not you. Like, they had a character that they needed to feel, and that character needed to play that role. It didn't matter what I said or who I was in front of that camera. With editing and with fancy producers, they'll make the narrative be whatever they want it to be.
So did any of that character translate? Because the show was a very long time ago. Did any of that continue on?
Subconsciously. I didn't realize it did, and that's, for me, why we need to take into account like the damage that reality TV does. And I'm really going there. Like, I know it's like, this is cute, but like reality TV, like that creates our reality for us. And so I started having these superficial friendships where we would go to have cocktails and we wouldn't have intense dialogue, or we wouldn't have like deep conversations where we would truly connect. It was, we get in a selfie, let's do this boomerang with our champagne glasses, let's get a cute one, okay, let's do a fun one now. And that's not a true friendship. And so it was like that and that aspect, but also with social media. If I post a picture of, I don't know, like picture of me and my cousins, I may get, 100 likes, and I post a selfie and like a random quote, and it's like, oh, now I get 900 likes. Well, hey. And eventually you want the likes. You want the likes. And so you start posting based on what you know you'll get likes, even if it's not
true or representing how you feel at the time.
Or the multi-dimensional Portia. Yeah. It's like, I'm only giving y'all the cute pea, but I'm really smart too.
Yeah. No, I get it.
So, I mean, it definitely did translate in real life, but kind of by accident. In my mind, I thought I had it all under control, but it wasn't until I took a step back and looked at my life and realized,
this is crazy. Yeah. Like, none of this is in control. And that, you bring up a very good point. Sometimes it takes hitting rock bottom or
Man.
going through trauma or, you know, it's sad. I told you this earlier. My mother says experience is the best teacher,
Yep.
but the tuition is very expensive. You know, you learn these lessons in life, and it's so sad that it takes some sort of tragedy or trauma for you to wake up. If not for, may her soul rest in peace, maybe if your friend didn't die, maybe you would not have been forced to look at life through a different lens and see that the way you've been living was mediocre, average at best, not nearly up to your full potential.
Yeah.
But
and that's why, and that was one of the reasons why I had to explore, and one of the reasons why I was so confident when I did shave off all of my hair, because, you know, it was this rejection of vanity. It was a shedding of pride and an act of humility and a surrender to my creator. Like, I wanted to give my time and my energy into things that made a difference, that were going to make the world better. And, you know, you don't get that in this whole superficial, like, perfect person. Like, I'm flawed. I'm very flawed. In fact, my flaws are what makes me so dope. And if you hide those in trying to be perfect, then people can't truly see you. And that was my introduction to showing the world the new me.
have you lost any friends since you've shaved your head and
Yes,
woken up?
absolutely. But Jesus lost friends too, sis. And that's why I say, like, it's so important to realize, like, you know, do you have goals, and where are you trying to be? And the friends that you have around you, do they support that person that you are? And yeah, they may come to your events and high five you, you know, when you have, you know, random stuff happening. You see it happening on Real Housewives all the time. They'll go to each other's events, but are they really, really friends? Are they truly there for each other when they need it? If they hit rock bottom, will that friend come drive to the other side of town to come pick you up? Like, seriously, like, that's the realness. And a lot of those friends, they weren't going in the direction I was going in. They wanted to stay in that place of that superficial, like, friendship, artificial friendship, and I'm not with it.
You know, but we have to be careful that we don't judge people who are not there yet. And
you're absolutely right.
The sad part is that some of those people will never get there. They will spend the rest of their lives putting on airs and living in their character, and they'll never get there. But I definitely understand. You know, my awakening was very different than yours. I didn't shave my head, but I did wake up. And it did force me to look at my life and create a different life, the life that I want for myself. And you shed your hair, I shed a lot of things, and some of those were people. And it's one thing to have someone in your life that, you know, they're just not there yet. Maybe they haven't had their trauma or their awakening or whatever they need to push them to the best version of themselves. But then you have some people that you just know they'll never get there. You know, they'll never get there.
And the thing is, these people who I'm not friends with, they're not bad people.
Exactly. They're just not your people.
That's it.
They're just not your people.
They were in my life for a reason. And I appreciate every single one of them because they served a purpose. But when you try to hang on to something that's finished,
it's not for you.
It's not for you. You have to let go.
And one thing that I realized is that every single one of the friends that I lost, had I met them now today, we would have never been friends.
Exactly.
Ever. We would have never been friends. So it's fine. You know, every loss is not a bad thing. It's fine. You know, and a lot of people, there are people that I used to know in my old life that cannot understand who I am now, who I'm developing myself to be. That it just does not resonate with them. And that is okay. You know, they're not bad people, but we have to be very aware and intentional of the life that we want. And part of that is looking at ourselves and asking some very real and honest questions.
That's it.
And, you know, you don't have to share this with you need to have people. We need to have conversations with ourselves and
First things first.
ask some very difficult questions and face some very difficult realities, because you will never, ever, ever become who you are destined to be if you are not honest with yourself.
That's it.
Never. You will never be that person. There could be somebody out here. You could have the cure for cancer. This is very hypothetical.
But I might.
It's never gonna, you might, but it's never, it's not ever gonna come out if you don't be real with yourself. You have to be, you have to be. So I'm very happy that you have asked yourself those questions.
And it's an ongoing process. It's like the awakening is not necessarily like, oh, I'm woke now.
It's a continuing
every
thing.
day.
Yes.
Like, just like you even got me together just now. Like, well, let's not talk about these friends, because
Well, I talk about them.
But it's real, because because we've evolved. I feel like it's sort of like, and I can't say this for everybody, but I feel like it's my duty to share my story, because that opportunity was ripped away from me with reality TV. They told a story for me. And so I have to now get in front of whatever story I'm creating and I'm sharing with the world. And it's important to know that some people are not going to be where you are at that time where you're there. There may be times where they may be well ahead of you.
Right.
Hell, when I was in my deep, dark depression, they were ahead of me, because I was not getting up. I was in my bed.
Right.
I was avoiding work. I was avoiding people. And, there was a shift. And it happens.
Yeah. What else is new for you? What else has changed? So you've shed some friendships, you've shed hair. What else?
I shed my career, and it was kind of by force. I went from being in this dark and like depressed state where I would cry like all the time, and like it was like I couldn't see the light.
Do you know what was making you sad? What was making you cry?
Like just my friend being gone.
Okay.
Like it was like I would just read through our text messages and like the randomness, and like I'm getting choked up now, but it's like
Want to take a break?
No, it's all good.
Okay.
I had so many questions, and it's like I look at the Portia then, and a lot of those questions have been answered. Just many of them were answered in me putting God on trial, because I learned God for myself. I guess we can take a break.
Okay,
girl.
we'll take a break. And we're ready. So, shaving your head. You used to wear your hair very long, lots of extensions, weaves, wigs, and that look is, highly European in nature. So, like, what are your thoughts on that?
I think that as I evolve, I think that my beauty standards will evolve as well. And at the time of me shaving my hair all off, it was, I'll just say, as a Black woman in America, I believe that we're taught that European beauty standards are what's right, and that
slender noses, long hair, straight hair, lighter skin if you really want to go there.
Yeah, all day.
Yeah.
But and even you want to take it a little even further, like just even the way that we speak. I learned how to talk from like my mama and like from my people, and it's like we're taught that that's wrong in school and that we need to speak a different way, which I get it, like, but at the same time it's so many other factors of being Black that seem wrong. And for me, like, cutting my hair was like that Black pride. It was me being, for the first time, truly proud and feeling like, not like I have to give an apology of, girl, my hair all over my head. Like, we went to lunch today, I didn't comb my hair, and I'm okay with that. Yeah. In fact, I'm great with that, because it's more to me than just my hair.
Just your hair. As women of any race, any culture, hair is always so important, but especially like Black women, I feel like making sure our hair is intact can really get in the way of a lot of life activities. Can't go swimming because you might mess up your hair.
Can't work out too hard.
Can't work out. You can sweat out your press. can't, you gotta be careful while walking in the rain. Like, it's just so much emphasis that's placed on our hair that, who was it, the gymnast, the young girl from Texas who sweeped everybody at the Olympics, but instead of focusing on that, the world was like her hair.
Yes.
Simone
Biles was...
No, maybe it was the other, forgive me. One of you amazing black girls, I have forgotten which one, but instead of focusing on your win, the world was focused on the way your hair looks, and it was unfair.
And we get that a lot, and I don't know, even with me shaving my hair, it's like, I feel like I'm part of some secret, like, black girl magic club.
Really?
Like, when I'm just walking down the street, people will, like, kind of give me, like, that nod, or, girl, I feel like people purposely say, I love your curls, versus, your hair cute. It's like, these aren't, like, they real tight curls, but they curls nevertheless.
They're curls.
And so, I don't know, I just feel like it's a different caliber of men who approach me, too.
How's that been? Have you found that you attract different...
I'm still single.
Fine,
I'm
but
gonna put that out there for anybody.
I'm sure men have approached you since you've shaved your head. So how has that been for you?
It's been interesting, but it also made me realize that just like in not having a clear defined goal and my purpose in life, if I don't have clearly defined idea of the man that I want, then I can literally let anybody come. With this kind of hair, it attracts a different kind of dude.
I agree.
And I mean, they still waste your time. Don't get me wrong. I'm here to say, like, you're not gonna get married just because you shave your head, but you get more conversation that's more valuable. Like people, I don't know. I just feel like people just approach you with a different vibe.
I agree.
Do you feel like, because like you have like straight hair, like do you feel like people like me, like natural girls, like look down? Because I hear this conversation a lot too. On girls who wear like extensions or get relaxers.
Not
or
all, but I've heard this myself. A lot of when I say natural, I mean natural hair, natural as in I'm not wearing makeup and I'm not wearing deodorant. I have heard them talk down on women who wear makeup. This is as young as 7th grade. One of my classmates said she did not respect women who wore makeup. Yeah, and I was like, it was a very foreign concept to me.
Ironically, I met a girl who told me the exact opposite. She said, I can't understand how a woman could leave her house
I've heard that too.
At least a drop of makeup, not even a red lip. And
I've heard the exact same too. So yeah, I have heard natural women talk down on women who wear fake hair and wear makeup. I don't agree with it either way. I'm natural. I still wear weave. I'm just not here for talking down on any woman.
Exactly.
I don't think please don't feel like you're superior because you're more in tune with your natural beauty. And sis with your bundles, don't think you're more superior because your hair is straight. Like I'm not for it,
Right.
I'm for all women be whoever you want to be that makes you feel good at the time.
And that's my thing. Yeah. Okay, so I'm just a transparent moment. When I first shaved my hair and you asked me like, okay, well, like how did people receive it? I was really surprised at how many women told me I could never do that. And
I hate that so much because nobody really asked you, and this is not about you,
Nobody. Meanwhile, like, you gave me a whole dissertation. Well, thank you.
No, like literally no one asked you.
And like, I get that, but when I just started hearing it so much, I took that as I don't think I'm beautiful enough to shave my hair, because then people would follow it up and say
that's what you thought about them,
right? Because sometimes like these comments would kind of go hand in hand. They would say, I could never shave my head, but you got the face for that.
That's what they would say.
And so that implies that some people don't have the face for it, and I don't subscribe to that either. I just think that however you feel beautiful, that's what you should embrace. And now I could be tracked up like a track star tomorrow with some platinum blonde hair. And if that's how I feel pretty, then that's my business.
Yeah.
And so I can't stop somebody else from, wearing their natural hair or getting braids or getting sew-in or what have you.
Well, all of that is projection. And if you recognize how much projection goes on every single day, you will learn not to take anything personal.
Exactly.
So,
and that was why I feel like I needed to establish my own standards of beauty.
Yeah.
Growing up, it wasn't a lot of like people with natural hair and like dark skinned women who were represented in pop culture and just like our media that, you know, that we would see on a regular basis. And so I want to be that for young girls. I want girls to look and see like you can wake up and like be you
It's
and
important.
be happy and walking your truth.
It's very
or
important.
you can do whatever feels good to you.
It's very important. So do you still hold that notion that women who don't wear their natural hair must not be in tune with their natural beauty or how beautiful they are?
I don't think that is because people wear weaves for different cases. Like some people may be suffering from alopecia. Some people may have, like for me, like I've done so much damage in trying to mimic these European beauty standards that I don't have edges. So edges say, "Come find me," and and that's my truth. Yeah. And like that's the reality. But I also want young girls to know that when you're doing this, there are repercussions like for this behavior. And so be well informed before you just go getting your baby a sew-in or before you go get a sew-in. Not saying that it's that you're the bad guy or that you love yourself any less, but like this is me sharing my story. Do with this information what you will.
Yeah.
But I don't like I really can't believe you made it to the end of this video. Like 30 whole minutes. Like 30? Like you the real MVP for that, for real. Ironically, though, it's a part 2. I was just a talking. But if you still here, it's because, I don't know, for a reason. Maybe you think about chopping off your hair. At any rate, the second part is just as juicy, if not better. If you're interested in listening to my friend's Bijul's new podcast, In Full Bloom, make sure you click the link below. Till next time.